Hey everybody, this is Ashley live on Facebook and YouTube. It's Ashley, published with Ashley, and I'm excited to be here today. I know I've had a lot of people, saying, oh, my sales are low in January. And so I thought I would talk a little bit about low January sales, what you can do about it, and inspire you for the rest of the year. I have some fun and kind of maybe different stuff that I don't think anyone's talking about a few of these things. So I thought I would share some of my creative ideas. I'm always in search of inspiration. Sometimes I have too many ideas. Sometimes I feel stuck. So I like to go to different avenues, different places to look up stuff. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about low January stuff. Okay, so I guess viewer portion, like, subscribe, comment, all that sort of thing. Like, subscribe to YouTube and comment on Facebook as well. Hey, Facebook's users. Sorry, I can't see who it is. I'm using StreamYard. Unless you let me know or let StreamYard see your name, I just see Facebook user. But that's okay. Hi out there in viewing land. All right, so I've got some fun stuff today. Let's see. So low January sales. There's not much to be done about low January sales at this point, but do know that low January sales is kind of typical throughout the industry unless you were focused on January selling items. I had this problem about 2 years ago. I had great, November, December sales, and January was like, emoji sad face, right? So it was like sad face. So last year I decided in, August, October timeframe, you've got to start early to start publishing things that would be popular in January. Weight loss planners, some yearly things. So like a year journey, like a 365-year journey type book, prompt books, that sort of stuff, things that start in January basically. And so that's great because you start getting November sales because people start buying Christmas gifts for people. It's definitely a fantastic Christmas gift. You get great December sales and you get good January sales. Jacqueline Peterson. Okay. Hi, Annika too. So that's the kind of stuff I did. So if you want your January to be, my January is going actually better than I thought it was going to go. I am going to not hit 12K, I don't think, but I'm going to come close to that in January. But remember, I planned for this 2 years ago. I started focusing on getting January good sales. So last January was good. And this January, I doubled down on the stuff. Oh, actually in October, I doubled down on the stuff that had did well in Christmas and January timeframe. And so my January is going well. So it's something that you can't fix now, but you can fix in the future. So don't let it discourage you. Let it motivate you to find the thing. My lowest month now is usually September, and I have tried all the back to school niches, teacher planners. I've tried all that, and I've had mediocre success. So I'm going to try something different this year and see if I can't boost my September sales. But I'm not starting that in September. I'm starting that more like in June. So you've got to start early if you want to. It's like a 3 month ahead of time. Okay, so cool things that have come out. I know some of you, probably a lot of you, saw that I have an ads course out. So if you want to learn Amazon advertising, I've had really good feedback. Most people, it's really, I start kind of with beginner basics. I have 2 more modules I've decided to add to that, kind of some notes. And then in the end of that course has a beginner's strategy. And I wanted to actually create like a intermediate to advanced strategy section. So I'm going to create that in the next coming weeks and stuff. So there's going to be some more added to the course. It's a deal for $49. I think my coupon just ended a few days ago, but it's really, it walks you through it. It's also a good way to launch some books. I will use a lot of my strategies in there to launch new books that have never actually been published if I'm trying to get them to rank for certain keywords. So that's kind of one of the things I'm going to add in the course in the next week or so. It's on my to-do list. My to-do list is very long. And yes, I know it's not a KDP book and it's small, but this is exactly what I wanted from Walmart, so I bought it. And okay, so let's see. Yeah, I think I got everything there. Okay, so let's go on to researching evergreen niches. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. I am so going to cross my fingers that this works. And I'm going to move my screen over, so I may not be looking at the camera, but I'm going to try and get this to work. Okay. Okay, so here we go. Yes, it's a PowerPoint slide, I know. But I wanted to make sure I talked about these. I know some people want like the information and then want to get off. That's fine. So here's the places I suggest you search for research and niche ideas. These are ways to find hidden gems that maybe other people aren't looking at. The top ones, less. So everyone knows Amazon, right? I had to put it on there. So if anybody's a newbie, Amazon with free Chrome extensions. Okay, so these are the 3 Chrome extensions I use. They are all free. I think some of them have some pro things, but I don't have any of the pro stuff. So Self-Publishing Titans, they have 2. One's a suggestion expander and one's an SEO. Both of those are great. If you just Google Self-Publishing Titans, it should show up. Their website. And then also, if you haven't checked out their website is really great. It actually has quite a bit of really good information, and it has a lot of links to different stuff. So it's just kind of a good place to go to. Maybe if you haven't seen everybody's YouTube channel or various things, they have some good information on there. The DS Amazon Quick View, that is a great one, so you can see BSRs quickly, and AMZ Suggestion Dispenser. Okay, so I'm just going through that for newbies. Now, the other places I look are Etsy, Redbubble, Pinterest, and Facebook groups. So those are like the cool places I look. So what I've done is, let's see if I can make sure that's the one. Okay, so what I've done is I've just pulled up Homeschool Printables on all of these so I can kind of show you how I go about doing this. So I go through here. I'm going to open that so I can see people's questions. Okay, so yes, I will answer questions and stuff after I'm done, so the people who want just the information and can leave, that sort of thing. Okay, so Homeschool Printables. This is cool. So like you can look through and get ideas of what is popular on Etsy for, pick any topic that you're interested in. I just picked homeschool because my daughter was doing homeschool next to me. But you can like look at things around your room. You can maybe things you're interested in, maybe hobbies you have, and see what is selling. So anything that says bestseller tags, those are things to pay attention to. Anything that has lots of reviews, that's something to pay attention to. So just go through and kind of see, okay, these anatomy stuff. I know the anatomy coloring books are really popular, maybe a kid's version of the anatomy coloring books. And I know there is one that does really well, but maybe you could focus on a specific thing. Like, what about a certain disease or something that you could have anatomy coloring books on that to kind of explain that disease to a kid? That might be something, and that might be something good for their sisters, their sibling, or their siblings, brothers and sisters, to explain the disease to their siblings. But those are ideas. I'm just trying to say, think a little outside the box. I've been, if I can go down, I don't know if it's showing on this. There was these printable theaters. I think it's this store that does it. They have these printable theaters. They're so cool. I would love to do something like that. The idea is you have all these different things and the kids cut them out and then create a theater. And I've been obsessed with stuff like that. I have all the research to get it done. I just got to go do it. Here's with trees. So you can kind of look, and there's a ton of ideas just here. Like, just going down here, I can look for a million ideas. And then you can kind of decide which ones are the best by what's selling on Amazon or what's selling on Etsy. And then there might not be anything on Amazon yet. That's how I've said this. This is how I found one of my best niches. I was looking on Etsy and saw a lot of it doing really, really well. And I did more research and there was nothing on Amazon. And so I put stuff out there and it started selling, because if people on Etsy want it, there's definitely people on Amazon who wants it. And what I did to kind of boost that is I did ads, and then I also pinned stuff on Pinterest, because a lot of people who are really active on Etsy are Pinterest users. So I tried to kind of find those people who are already looking on Etsy maybe and Pinterest. So that's kind of a way to jumpstart things. And it took a while. It was not an instantaneous thing. It took about 3 months before they started to catch on, but it worked really well. Here's like a skeleton. Okay, so I don't want this to take forever, but you can see there's a lot of really cool stuff on Etsy. Okay, so homeschool, I typed it into Redbubble. The neat thing, you can do this with any niche. The neat thing about Redbubble is you can click over here and hit trending. So you can see, maybe if it's going to think about it, you can see what's actually trending. So this might be a way to catch a trend that has just kind of started, and that maybe isn't on Amazon yet. I didn't see anything particular when I went down here, but that just probably is the niche with homeschooling. Okay, Pinterest. So let's go through Pinterest. Pinterest has a lot of cool features. I love Pinterest because I love the visual aspect of everything. So Homeschooling Printables, I just typed it in there, and there's a few things. One, there is a drop down that can give you some maybe more focused homeschool free worksheets, preschool, first grade, planner, math, high school, right? Then there's also groups. These groups might give you some really great ideas of things that are more than likely they are selling. And so you can see if some of that might give you some good ideas or a niche that you weren't aware of yet. Another thing you can do is you click over here to all pins. You can click videos, people, and boards. And see the boards or other people's boards. This can be like other people's, this can be helpful. But the videos I thought was kind of cool, and different people who are have those sorts of interest. Anyway, so I thought those, it's kind of, you can sort and do different things. You can also hit shop. Sorry, I've got the hiccups. You can also hit shop and look. And this is usually what stuff's selling on Etsy and Walmart. A lot of it's Etsy. You can see, right? Pinterest, Etsy, right? Etsy and Pinterest users go hand in hand. This I know. So this can definitely give you some, ideas. All right, so let's go to this one nobody talks about. Okay, this is Facebook. You're like, Facebook? Yes, and I found something that was kind of cool in here. I don't know how viable it would be, but I thought it's worth a shot. So I hit homeschooling, and there's all these different ways to do it, but I would click groups. Why I click groups is you can see what groups are popular, right? This has 20,000 members. This has 44. This has 13. This has 16. Right? Here's the one I thought was different. I had no idea what wild schooling was. None, right? But there's 69,000 people. Now, I'm not saying join these groups. Like this one says, this is strictly for those who are actively considering, wild schooling. I'm not saying join these groups and spam them. No, no, no. Okay? I don't want you doing that. I want you to just see what the numbers are. Like wild schooling, I never heard of that. So I went over to Google it, right? And it's a curriculum where it's about, being outside and being with nature, and kind of a different type of closer to nature type schooling. So that sort of thing. And then I went over to Amazon, and sure enough, there is like 2 or 3 books, and that's it. And none of them are low content books. So I don't know if this is like a fat, I know this says 36% and this, but if you go down here, a lot of these they're not even relevant. So I think it's just a very untapped niche. But it's obviously very popular on Facebook. So, there might be something there, and you can think of creative and interesting ways to, promote your product. Definitely you can do ads on Amazon. Maybe you could contact the person who actually runs this group, offer to give them like 4 or 5 of your books for free. Just say, hey, I will ship you 4 or 5 of my books for free. And, you can give them out to people in your group just as a thank you. And then you can get, basically free advertising to, and do something nice for them, right? You're offering that group admin something to give away to the people in their group. And so, you might not get anything out of it, but I have to say, this year I did a lot of giving away of my books, and it was really great advertising. So I bought a bunch of, I know this is impossible for everybody. I bought a bunch of author copies and just gave them out to people. But for a Facebook group, even if you are in a different country, you could go and order your book as an author copy and ship it to someone. So you'd order it, like, say the person's in the US, this person might be, I don't know. You could ship it to them via Amazon.com. And so you could ship an author copy to them, and it's probably around $6. And then if you're going to do like more than one, the shipping goes way down. So like 2 copies would be like $9 or something instead of $6 a copy. So that's a thought. Anyway, so that's kind of, let me go back to my PowerPoint. Let's see if I have anything here, right? I just said, don't jump in and advertise to these groups. It's for idea generation, or like I said, you can do it a nice way by offering the admin, hey, free copies, and you get some advertisement and they got free books. So that's a way to do it as well. Okay, so that's kind of the end. So if you are interested in the short version, I don't know how long that was, but I'm hoping that was short. Now I will answer questions. Let's see, let me move this over and stop screen sharing. Okay, there we are. Okay, so I'm back. Let me see what I've got. Okay, so a little bit about branding. If I made first site for them, how would that help me in growing sales? Okay, so the best way I think branding is for growing sales is to be able to put your website in a book so that other people are in the book. So you have a nice splash page, you have like this book belongs to you, and then on the back page where you put like your copyright, you put your logo for your brand, you put your website, and then people who are interested, because when I handed out a lot of my books, everyone's like, oh, where can I find the books? And this was like previous years, people were like, oh, where do I find your books? And because a lot of us have so many pen names, it was just hard for people. Like I'd say, oh, well, you can find my books all over Amazon. Here's all my pen names. It was too hard. So what I decided to do was create that, website, www. with, my brand name.com. And then that way I can direct people to that so that they can see all my products and that they have somewhere to go. So that's what I think branding and a website does. It does not have to be complex. The other thing your website should do for you is get you to be able to collect email addresses. So those are like the 2 things I think your website can do for you. And you don't have to actually on your website collect email addresses. You can do that via a landing page, and you would promote that in your book on the front and the back, like not the front cover, in the interior. You could promote that there, say, hey, want some free coloring pages or whatever your offer is. Go here to a landing page, and then you want to do that in the back. It's also a way to say, hey, here's some more of my books. Like I'm doing a word search. So I'm going to do a bunch of word search books. And I'm going to have 2 or 3 in the series. So at the end, I'm going to say, go to, here or here to get some of these other books. So you can advertise to an already existing customer who's purchased your book. And if they've purchased one, then they like it, they're likely to buy again. So that's kind of what branding and a website does for you. You're encouraging someone who's already purchased your book to buy another one of your books. Okay, let's see. What could a newbie produce if they want a creator planner and it's already second week of January? Don't produce a planner anymore. Well, don't produce a dated planner. There are other types of planners. There's student planners, academic student planners. There's a lot of 18-month calendars that start in like June, July timeframe. Look up types of calendars on Google, and it will show you that those are the only ones I can think of at the top of my head. But like school ones, the academic ones tend to start in August. Then you have kind of the 18 ones that start in like June or July. And so you have kind of some various types of planners. So if you're planning on doing dated planners, those are the kinds you want to do. Undated, anything under the sun, you could do. I would suggest doing like some 3-month calendars, like 3-month planners. 3 months is a good 90-day kind of challenge type stuff. So, 90 days to clean your house, and you create a planner that helps them organize cleaning their house. Or a 90-day, stay away from, like, I know Kimona, whatever you say her name, stay away from her brand names. But, a 90-day to a clean house isn't branded, or shouldn't be, I don't think. Check always. But things like that, like 90 days to weight loss, and be specific. You always want to drop down a little bit. That's why I was opening the homeschool planners and then saying, okay, wild schooling, what's that? So a homeschool planner for wild schooler, something like that would be maybe something you could do. And you could do an undated version of that or dated versions. I know it goes both ways. I'm a dated version type person because I don't like writing in my own dates. But I also know some people like undated versions so that if they stop and start their planner, it's not wasted. So, you can try both. But you don't have to do planners. I was just talking a lot about planners before because that was the season. Now, other things, do all sorts of different things. The reason I did homeschooling was to show you some different ideas, like the anatomy coloring book for kids, or some of those other, let's see, I can't even remember what I had in there, but like just scrolling down on Etsy, there was a bunch of ideas that were more of the evergreen type stuff that isn't necessarily as dated like planners would be. Okay. Yes, you could start doing Easter books now. Let's see. Yes, if you were going to do Easter books, do them now. January is the time to do Easter coloring books, Easter anything, or anything. I was looking at, let's see, what was it? 21 fasting and prayer journals, like 21 days of fasting and prayer. So like there's a lot of, there actually wasn't too many, but it seemed to be popular that the idea to fast and pray for 21 days. And you can look into it's kind of a movement. You can look into it on Google. It's not, I don't think, actually not eating for 21 days. It's like not eating 2 meals for 21 days and then journaling about your experience. So something like that is definitely an undated type thing. You could make a really great planner, gratitude journal. Think of all the really neat pages you could make for that. You just have to do a little bit of research into what people in that who are interested in that. But it looked like there was some movement for 21 days of fasting and journal. And I think it's, been by this whole, the pandemic thing, a lot of people are turning to prayer and gratitude and for loved ones, for, their own sanity, all sorts of things. So you could do something like that. That was something I was looking at that I thought might be good, but I haven't, it's on my list. I have a very, very long list. Do you want to find, okay, how do you find a quiet, smaller journal or notebook niche? You combine niches. So like the homeschooler, and then I saw wild schooling, right? So that's a very smaller market. So that's what you want to do. You want to look at a broad topic, whatever the topic is. Like gratitude journal, right? 21 fasting and gratitude journal is a much quieter niche than gratitude journal. It's very specific to someone who wants to do fasting and prayer for 21 days. So things like that, that's why I was showing you Etsy and I was showing you Pinterest and Redbubble and all these different ways, and Facebook, because Facebook groups might have a niche, like a smaller version of that niche that you were not aware of. I had no idea wild schooling was a thing, but it sounds kind of cool. So, once you find that, you would want to do research into it and create something that community would like. Don't just throw wild schooling on the cover and slap it up there. You could, but I'm doubting you're going to make a lot of sales. You'd have to do a little bit more research. I'm a big believer in really great interiors and really great covers because the cover sells it. But I believe that you will have happy return customers if you make a great interior. And you can charge more. So that's always nice. Thank you, Amid, for saying thank you. And let me go down a little farther. Oh, yes. When I say the back, in that case where I was saying you advertise, yes, you could definitely put your website on the back, though I wouldn't. But you can put on the back pages. So like the last page, actual page. What I usually try and do is make, like, let's say I was doing a coloring book. So, it opens like this. I would have the coloring page right here. And then I would say, hey, want more, free coloring pages? Check out this. Hey, here's my website if you want to look at our other titles or something like that. So that they kind of almost have to look at that page. Does that make sense? Like your last activity is something that they would open and then they would see that. So that you can kind of advertise to them. So that's kind of what I do. I make sure I want to make sure they are able to see it really obviously. Okay. Oh, is there a way to sell your low content books on Etsy other than downloadables? I was looking into that, and yes, if you order a bunch of author copies from Amazon of your low content book, you can sell those on Etsy. The only thing you have to do is you have to claim that Amazon Kindle Direct, or maybe it's Kindle Direct Publishing, or maybe Amazon Publishing. You would have to look at kind of what you want to claim it, what the actual title, I think it's Kindle Direct Publishing by Amazon or something is the actual title of that. You would have to claim that as one of your partners on Etsy. I looked through all the terms of service and I didn't see anything that said you couldn't use Amazon as your printer. So you just have to claim them as one of your partners because they print the book. And then you would have to buy your author copies and ship them out to the people on Etsy. And that's kind of how you would have to do it. So that would be something that it would be a little bit in the risk in the sense of you would have to purchase those copies. But it might be worthwhile. It might be something to test, buy 4 or 5 of your copies and see how that works. I was thinking about it for next year because I had a lot of requests for that. So yeah, but I don't know. I don't know how, I can't say from personal experience how it would work, but I did research it and you can do that. Is there a way to sell? Yeah, other than downloadables. Does uploading a lot of notebooks still work? It can, but you have to be really specific at this point in time or funny or aim at a holiday. And if you're going to aim at a holiday, then you have to, and you're not going to use ads, you have to drill down. So like Valentine's Day, you're probably past Valentine's Day. Like if you uploaded something right now, you might make it. It might get like indexed in time to show up. But if you were going to do Valentine's Day, let's say very, very beginning of January, actually more December would be a better time to put up Valentine's Day stuff, like end of December, then you want to be specific, like humor works, off-color humor. I am a terrible off-color humorist. I don't find it funny, so I can't make it up. And I'm pretty bland, benign. I don't swear. I'm just one of those people. Sorry, I'm just not that person. So that's okay. But there are people who use like sweary Valentine's Day cards, notebooks. That's cool. So stuff like that, you might be able to get away with not advertising if it's at a specific niche. Like I was saying, like LGBT. Did I say that in the right order? I'm sorry if I didn't. that might be a niche for Valentine's Day. There's probably not a huge amount of notebooks for that sort of like super specific niche. So that might be something. So you'd have to kind of niche down if you're going to pick a holiday and do that. Activity books, like for Easter. Right now would be a great time to do activity books, Easter activity books, and start doing that. And you'd want to focus on, maybe you could focus on a specific religion if you wanted to, or you could focus on a certain age group, you know. Easter activity, you'd have to do a little bit of research to see what the keywords that would work, but you want to focus down like Easter activity book for toddlers. And remember, if you're going to aim it at toddlers, it's got to be super, which is nice. You got to do super simple drawings and super simple activities, like, you know, follow the lines type activities. Or you could do, maybe add some cutting pages in there where they just practice straight cutting towards a bunny, or practice straight cutting towards something. So there's stuff you can do that's very easy, but it would be focused at a toddler. That would be an activity book. But notebooks, it can work. You just have to find things that aren't there, or funny. If you're really funny and witty and come up with puns, maybe you could do really well. I am not punny. My children are punny, but I am not. So I do not do that. You can use Lulu to sell low content books on Etsy as well. That is true. Lulu and Lulu Express, right, Donna? They do, they both, you can use them on Etsy. I haven't used them yet. I've looked into them. I haven't used them. So I can't like say more than I've looked into them, but I can't like validate how good they are. But I know, Donna, I talked to you and you said, that they had done a really good job. So Lulu and Lulu Express is a good way to do print on demand books on Etsy. So Annika says, I'm creating my own interior for journals with elements from Creative Fabrica, but still one book is taking me to produce like a week. Can it be done faster? Yes and no. As you get better, you will get faster. It is probably two things. One is probably better that it is taking you a while, that it'll probably be a better quality, but you will get faster and you'll just learn time-saving techniques for yourself. But I will say the ones that take me the longest have been my best sellers. Now, this is the second thing, the caveat, especially when you first start, you may miss your niche. You might aim it wrong and it doesn't sell. If you spend a lot of time on that interior and it's just not selling, you could try and unpublish it and then maybe tweak it a bit and then relaunch it as like a different title or a different cover or something maybe closer targeted. So that way you can reuse your interior. You don't, I guess, have to unpublish if it's never actually sold. You could just do a different cover, tweak the interior and put it out there again. It just kind of depends if it's going to be under the same brand name or something like that, to kind of keep your brand name clean. You might want to unpublish it, but you might not. It might not matter. If you decide to revamp the whole thing and do it as a different brand name, as a different author name, that would be fine too. Yeah, things are taking you a long time. Think about how you can reuse that. That's one of the reasons, the things that took me a long time, I started putting on Etsy as printables, because then I figured, well, hey, if I get extra money from Etsy, good deal. So this month on Etsy, I'm looking like I'm going to make about an extra $1,000, maybe $800. We'll have to see how it's going, but I'm about $800,000, right? Extra. I just took those things I had created that took me a long time and put them on Etsy. I did do Pinterest. So like, don't think I just threw them on there and crossed my fingers. I did do some pins in Pinterest to try and, like I said, Pinterest and Etsy, they like each other. So I tried to push my own products. I also made sure to very much on Etsy do SEO. I did a lot of search engine optimization. Like I made sure my title was good. I made my pictures were good. I made videos because Etsy's doing videos now, because Etsy said that they would push things that had a video higher in their search. So I made sure to create a video, right? So I did things to help my product along. How do you check copyright? Now, copyright in the US, you can do test. Just type into Google test, TESS, and it should show right up. For other countries, I'm not as positive how to do that because I mostly, the US is going to be your biggest, I guess, most strict. The UK probably the next, and maybe Germany after that. But my stuff does tend to be very bland. Like I don't focus on any sort of word that, because titles can't be copywritten, okay? You can have a so test is for trademarks, but it's copywriting. Okay, so there's two different things. How do you check for copyright? So copyright is you actually copying someone's stuff. If it's a brand name or any of that sort of thing, that's copied. If you're literally copying anyone's stuff, like you're taking someone's thing that you do not have a license for, that would be not having the right copyrights. Trademark is a little different. Trademark is like the brand names. So like Pepsi, Coke. One that maybe is a little obscure is bullet journals. That is actually trademarked, so you cannot use bullet journal. You could use dot grid journal, but you cannot use bullet journal. So you can check test for trademarks. Copyrights, titles cannot be copywritten, but they can be trademarked. So like the bullet journal, we talked about that example, that is trademarked, so you can't use that in a title or in descriptions. Another one, I'm trying to think of like some big famous books. If it's a fad or trending type book, look and see if there's a copyright on tests. Also, you can, not a copyright, I'm sorry, a trademark on tests. I'm sorry if I'm confusing. I know it all in my brain, but sometimes it comes out wrong. So yeah, trademark and copyright are different. Trademark is like that brand name, and copyright is like the actual picture or item. It's instantly copyrighted once it's put out there. So your cover, when you put it out there, by US law, is copyrighted the second it goes out live. So you could register it as well, but it's kind of not worth it in the US. Let's see. Oh yeah, so Donna says Lulu does really nice paper for coloring. So I guess check out Lulu. Teachers pay teachers. I have not. I looked into it and I got on my to-do list. I am on Amazon Ignite, and I have some stuff for like toddler ages, kindergartners. Since I had a kindergartner, I designed a bunch of stuff for her to, cut up and play with. And I was doing, the newest thing I'm doing is paper folding. It's called paper mache. I can't even say it, but it's like the art of creating something and you fold it into a 3D object. Paper mache, I don't know. Anyway, so I was creating little police cars and things like that you color and then you fold up and paste them, glue them a little bit so it's a 3D shape, and then like a car wash and a little police car anyway, so I was doing stuff like that and putting that on Amazon Ignite, and it does okay. But nothing exciting to write home of. What types of things are you doing for your videos in Etsy? Okay, so I just do a flip through on my books, and I do that actually electronically. You can, I'm almost positive I have a video on my YouTube channel about how to do in PowerPoint a flip through of your book. But it's pretty much just an animation where it curls the page and it flips through the book, and then you just record it. And you have to have some sort of screen capture. And I used, what did I use? Screencast. Screencast-O-Matic? Yeah, Screencast-O-Matic is what I used to do it. There's a free version and it has like Screencast in the corner, but I actually paid for it because I use it for taping my courses as well. But you can have the free thing in the corner. That's okay too. But it just flips through the pages and so that they can look at it. I thought about like yeah, that's kind of what I did. Let's see. It was not a very exciting or amazing video, but it was a video. The video only is like 10 seconds long. So you have to, be quick. Let's see. Anything else? I think I did everybody's questions. Let me scroll back up. I think that's it. Any other questions? Thank you for the likes and thumbs ups and all that. Thank you. I appreciate them. Subscribe. One day we'll get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Anything else? Let me see. If not, that's kind of all I have for today. Gosh, it's been 40 minutes already, so it's been a while. Yeah, okay, let's see. Got some. What about producing smaller notebooks or journals on Amazon KDP? Should you use a different name and change the cover? If it's in the same niche, I usually keep the same author name and we'll publish several, but I don't do mine very similar. Mine all look very unique. I don't subscribe to the mass production. Mine are all unique. They all look different and appeal to like a different color palette, a different audience, different graphics. They're all pretty unique. It takes time. It takes longer, but the results I think are much better. And you don't have to produce as many because they're unique and interesting. Okay. Do you know how to add multiple? Okay, so multiple images on book listing as an independent publisher. Yes and no. There used to be a loophole where if you were an Amazon seller, you could go into your Amazon seller's account and ask that they update and add your pictures. And I think it still works, but you have to be very, very, very persistent because you have to go on an email chain and prove that it's your book and that you're the publisher. And you have to take a picture of yourself with the book and you have to email them 10 times so that you get the right person who knows what you're talking about. So yes, it is possible, but it might take you way more time than it's worth. It used to be a little bit easier, but they kind of been closing that down. So you've got to find the one guy who knows what you're talking about at Amazon. So it's harder. The other thing is if you have a registered brand as an independent author, you can register your own brand. And there's a whole bunch of hoops to jump through to do that. I don't know exactly what they are because I haven't. Maybe I will with the brand that's doing really well. I think I might do that. So once I do that, I can give you the process, but you register a brand with Amazon. I know it takes a little while to do that. And once you do that, you can add extra. You're like your own publisher in the sense that you can add things and do things that other people probably can't because you're a registered Amazon brand. But that takes time, effort, and probably money. I'm not positive. I haven't, like I said, I know it's out there. I just haven't looked into it enough because it was more one of those things when I got to that point, I would research it. So I'm thinking about it. That might be the middle of this year that I might do that. Let's see. Do I have any software programs for helping to put puzzles together? Yes. So you can do if you have Book Bolts, they have a Puzzle Whiz, which is really cool. Ashley 20 is to get 20% off. If you want to do Book Bolt or Book Bolt and Puzzle Whiz. There is also another one, which is Instant Publisher Generator. I did 2 YouTube videos about that, and I have the links on there. That one I really like because it outputs to a lot of different things. It'll do a PNG, it'll do PowerPoint, it'll do JPEG, it'll do PDF. I like that it is easy to edit and has a lot of different output methods. I'm actually the word search I'm doing right now. I'm going to use their software to create the word search. So I like theirs. But yeah, let's see. On Etsy, we must include a cover. We can publish without a cover. You don't need a cover necessarily for printables. No, but you do need to make pretty graphics. Selling on Etsy is all about pretty graphics. in the sense of look on Etsy and see what's selling well, and they have pretty posed photos. So what you would do is get a pretty background, have kind of a branding look, and then put screenshots of your pages on that to kind of in a fanned out method so that people can see, insight into what's printables you have. Just type in printables on Etsy and you'll see what other people do for pictures. So you have to create something like that, but you don't have to necessarily have a cover, if that's helpful. Let's see. Anything else? I think I got everything. I'll give it another 5 or so seconds. But thanks everyone for watching. Hopefully those of you got some good info today. I really like looking on the Facebook groups and Etsy. Etsy's been my big one lately to kind of generate different ideas, something a little bit outside what everybody's trying to publish on KDP, and just it kind of is a rabbit trail, right? It takes work and research. I know everyone says, just tell me what to publish. But if I tell you what to publish, I promise you that a million other people are going to do it, or 50,000 other people, or whatever. And then, it's not going to work for you. You have to kind of pick a topic and start doing the rabbit trails of saying, oh, okay, homeschooling. Well, what's wild schooling? Okay, well, what is kind of interesting about wild schooling? What could I do with that? So you've got to kind of follow those rabbit trails to see where they lead to come up with something interesting and different. And that's one of the reasons I've been liking Etsy, because it gives me a lot of rabbit trails. It gives me a lot of different ideas of things that I can start looking at to see what might be fun, or what might sell, or what might be interesting to people other than what people typically do on KDP. I don't know. I am a terrible Twitter user, so I have no idea if Twitter is helpful. So totally not onto Twitter. So I can't help you with that. Faceless YouTube videos to promote your products would be good. Yeah, I have seen YouTube and TikTok. I have seen, actually for TikTok, which I know they actually put them on YouTube as well. I've seen people, if it's a planner, I'm just giving a planner as an example, they will fill out their planner daily. So they'll just do a video, they'll fill out their planner and video it, and then they'll kind of speed up the video so it's, shorter. You don't have to watch them write slowly. And then they just kind of show, so that's what they'll do. And I've seen that as a great advertisement for planners, or anything that maybe is a little more interesting than just a lined notebook, right? A lined notebook probably wouldn't be all that interesting. But yeah, I've seen just handwritten things where people are writing in it and showing the pages as they, the sped up version of them writing in the pages. And I've seen that. I saw a few that had great TikTok numbers. So I know that's a thing. So you can try that. I'm not into TikTok, I have not tried putting my books up there on YouTube yet and flipping through them, because that's just something I haven't tried. But it's worth a try, especially if you're focused at a specific audience, right? If you can focus at a specific audience, then they may be searching Google or YouTube for things on that. People like how-to videos on YouTube. So if your book can do something in the how-to niche, then that might be something you can definitely use to advertise it. Okay, well, I'm going to go because I got to make sure my kids are still alive, and I've got to feed my youngest her peanut butter sandwich, because she will come in here in about 10 minutes and yell at me if she doesn't get it. And thanks so much. Gosh, there's so many people here and so many questions. I so appreciate it. And I will see you all next week. I do have on my list a few things that I'm going to try and put in as taped things, videos that'll be shorter. We'll cross our fingers, hope I get those done. I always tell everybody my to-do list is way too long, but I'm trying. All right. Thanks so much. Bye.